Welcome back to Eye.Talk.Tech, where we explore the intersection of eye care and technology. I am your host, Dr. Griffin Christensen. And back in September, some of you might recall, we previewed some major innovations from Hoya prior to Vision Expo West. And today we're going to continue that conversation with a little bit deeper dive into one of the particular launches, VisuPro. And joining us to discuss this lens and how it addresses some unique market needs is Kelly Rosemann. Kelly, nice to see you
Hi.
here. How are you
Yeah.
today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing wonderfully. Thank you for joining
Good.
us here. And, like I said, before Vision Expo West, which is crazy how time goes, doesn't seem all that long ago, back in
Right.
September with Michael Gaddy, we were able to talk a little bit about VisuPro. But for those that might have missed that, could you give us a refresher and a recap and kind of the overview? What is VisuPro and its intended
Sure.
purpose?
Sure. So yeah, we launched this lens design back in September, back when we had Expo in Vegas, and it was It was brand new to the market. It is a lens like you have never seen before. It is not your standard single vision lens. It's not even a digital single vision lens. It's not a progressive. So what would it be? It's an entire new lens category that Hoya has created called an advanced focus lens. And Michael talked a little about it last time. I'm excited to be here today to go deeper into what this lens is. There's different types of this lens, different types of patients' needs it's going to address, but we are bringing something new to market that's never been there before, that has a patient need base in every eye care office across the country.
Well, I think that raises two questions maybe for me. One, what are the problems that this addresses in a new
Sure.
category? Who is this for? And maybe could we do a little bit of a dive on what differentiates the technology as well?
Sure, sure. So this category is a category out there that these patients have really been underserved. There have been band-aids in the market that have helped them, but there's not been a lens devoted to fix their need. I am talking about our pre-presbyopic patients. I myself can say I fit in this category here, so I have experienced these needs. It is for those patients walking in your door that fit in that age range of 35 to 45-year-olds. I want you to think when they're sitting in your exam chair and you're talking to them, they really do have different needs from what those younger patients that just have some digital eye strain have. They are starting to have some accommodative issues, and it's something that they don't even realize they're having. And we haven't really done anything in the market to help them. We've done different little band-aids. We've had these anti-fatigue boost lenses out there for them. Of course, how many of them sit in your chair are emmetropes. I'm having a hard time though reading the medicine bottle, helping my kids do things at night, and they go by over-the-counter readers. There's never been a specific lens for them. So that's where this is. We had a single vision before. Maybe people went into a digital single vision, or we put these patients into progressives right off the bat at plus 75 ad powers, plus 1 ad powers, and they weren't at the need for that progressive yet. So many of them non-adapted. If you remember how many patients in the past year you probably had in your exam chair that had a non-adapt to a progressive, they probably were people of those lower ad powers because they still live in that accommodative reserve era of their life. They can take, if they're nearsighted like myself, they can take their glasses off and function, right? I don't need that progressive yet. If they are emmetropes, they can blow the font up on their cell phone. If you have patients sit in your chair and you see the font on their texting screen really, really large, that's the market we're going after with this lens design. What makes it different, your other question there, is we've taken the simplicity of a single vision lens and have been able to add some progressive technology to it. We're able to train this patient of this age range how to eventually be able to wear a progressive successfully. Think about single vision lens wearers. When they wear their lenses, they naturally kind of look through the center of their lens. It's right at their optic center, and it's easier for them to be able to see through that. And when they look down to read, you can see it in everywhere in their life. They're looking more down through the center of their lens, but they're not bringing their eyes down to the bottom of the lens, which is what we're going to need them to do in a progressive. So this design will train them to do that with some binocular technology help. Michael talked about it last time, binocular harmonization technology. So we're training them to do that so that when they hit 46 years old, maybe sooner, maybe later, they can successfully move into a progressive with no problems.
Well, and I oftentimes find myself talking about with patients, someday when you fully need a progressive, if we wait to that point to act on this, it's kind of like we're throwing you in the deep end of the pool.
Right.
And, when you need it, some people can overcome that, certainly. But I think that the idea and the methodology of letting people wade in the shallow end first here seems certainly to have
Yes.
some utility. So,
Yeah.
it seems like there's a gap here and a need, and I like the aspect that you guys are talking about with the training and teaching people how to use a progressive. Well, why don't you see maybe other manufacturers offering a comparable solution? What is kind of leading to this gap in the market,
Sure.
perhaps?
Sure. Well, we've noticed there's been a gap here for a while, and we just probably like all the other lens companies out there made that little bit of a band-aid. We've all introduced our own anti-fatigue lenses that have all had these boost powers in the bottom, but they were just pushing that gap over. They weren't treating that problem. So Hoya, noticing there was a problem, Hoya being one of the top companies out there that prides ourselves on our innovation, took action into matter. I mean, years ago, there was a problem with blue light. We were the first ones to come out with having a blue light anti-reflective treatment. There were problems in measuring glasses. We were the first ones to come out with a Spectangle Pro measuring system. We were the first ones to come out with also making an individualized free-form progressive for patients. So we're first to market with this innovation and fulfilling this need. We have taken those patients' complaints over all the years of all the other lens designs. It worked, wasn't making it perfect, but we've taken those complaints and been able to take them back to market, make a product to be able to make these patients be able to see better and fulfill the gap between single vision and progressives. There should be a lot less progressive non-adapts with this gap lens being there. It's the bridge that really puts those two lens designs together.
Sure. And I want to get into some of the things that, maybe the ECPs are going to care about, but before we do that, I'm curious kind of your first-hand, experience and so forth, and how maybe this feels with the binocular harmonization. How does this feel compared to maybe an anti-fatigue? Do you have any experience firsthand with that?
I sure do. I will tell you, I'm wearing our VisuPro right now. And
Perfect.
yes, prior to working at Hoya, I am an industry veteran. I have been around forever, and I worked in an office as an optician and an office manager. So I have been wearing the anti-fatigue lens that Hoya makes since it very first came out 10, 12 years ago. And I baby stepped all the way through that as my vision needs changed, as my age progressed. I've baby stepped all the way through. So I have comfortably worn all of our boost powers in our anti-fatigue design. VisuPro is the next step. I could totally go into a progressive. I have a 1 1/4 ad. There's no reason why I cannot be in a progressive. However, I have loved my life with wearing the boost lens I had before, but it wasn't giving me quite the reading experience that I'm looking for at the age I'm at right now. I do a lot of computer work all day long. I do a lot of public speaking. I needed a little more. So I am now wearing our VisuPro all day design. We have 2 different designs for 2 different patients' needs. Myself being a nearsighted patient who needs to wear glasses all day long, I would require the all-day version, which is what I'm wearing. And there are 3 different powers in the bottom. We call them a Focus Max power because of the binocular technology ability in it. So I'm wearing the Type 5, which is going to have a power in the bottom of a 1.32. With my 1 1/4 ad, and let's be honest, I probably need about a 150 ad right now where I'm at, but it works beautifully for me. I can look down at my computer screen, I can look down at my monitor, and I can see and I can tell that there is a larger reading area than what I had in the Sync. The Sync design we had before, it was beautiful, but it's really meant for that anti-fatigue. It's meant for a younger class of people that just kind of have eye strain at the end of the day. This naturally allows my eyes to move to the bottom of the lens, and it's very comfortable. When we develop one of these designs, that's what we want it to feel comfortable for the patient. They don't feel like they're swimming, like the old feeling of what a progressive is. It's very comfortable to look down and find. Now, the other design we have, I said there were 2 there. I am not experienced with it, but that is the one that Michael Gaddy is wearing. And he said before, he was an immatrope when he was on your show last, and he didn't need any glasses, and he probably lives in denial, but that's okay. He, he lives in that world of just managing, just making things brighter, making lights brighter. And he got our VisuPro Flex. That flex design is meant for people that don't need to wear glasses on a daily basis, and they can flex them on and off. He got a little bit of power in the bottom, and it has made his world easier when he's working throughout the day. He doesn't have that eye strain at the end of the day. Those would be those emmetrope patients that are sitting in your chair that more than likely are just struggling through. They may say their eyes are fine when they're in your exam, and then they leave and they go buy the over-the-counter readers. I think what we miss in the market is that there are 200 million over-the-counter readers sold today, that many of those could be turned into a much better set of lenses for that patient, prescribed by their optometrist to make their function be better while they're working with them. And that's what the VisuPro Flex would do for them.
Well, I think that's wonderfully put. I think, to follow up on that, differentiating a practice, a clinic, and so forth is certainly important. And how do you see this product in particular supporting and mixing in to support practice differentiation? I think maybe you hit on it right there, but do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, there's this market of people that you're trying to capture in your exam lanes. There are 40 million patients out there in the US that are of that age range between 35 and 45. They probably are walking in your door. They're bringing their families in. Their families are buying glasses. They're getting them for their kiddos. And many of them probably put themselves behind needing to get everything for their family. So they're going to go, they're the ones that are going to leave and go to the box chain stores and go to the Dollar General stores and buy those over-the-counter readers. So what not better need to have in your practice is to have a solution for them where it's going to make their life more comfortable. It is not something that they can buy an over-the-counter reader to fix. Many of these patients are going to need a little bit of power when they're staring at their computer screen and more power when they look down to see near close task. An over-the-counter reader is not going to do that for them, and they just need to be educated, and that's where the differentiator comes in. This design is different than anything out there, any type of reader, and they just have to be asked the questions in the exam lane by the doctor to find the need that they don't realize they have, to then be shown, I have a product that can fix that for you. It's not very expensive at all. It's not the price of what a progressive is. It's going to solve their problem and make their work life easier for them. That's what's going to make practices very different. These can't be purchased online stores yet. I mean, there's nothing out there like it that's being sold in any of these online opticals where you measure yourself, and they're not being sold in the box chain stores either.
Sure, and I think education on all this is obviously going to be a big part of how we spread the word.
Right.
And to that point, if you're an OD or an optician and somebody who's recommending this lens, I mean, how would you describe binocular harmonization to a patient? How would you describe VisuPro in general to a patient? And what are the key things you would want to hit?
Sure. I think it's very important right off the bat to ask that patient what their lifestyle looks like and what they're doing with their eyes from 8 to 5 every day, whatever their working hours are. What are you doing with your eyes? It sounds like a strange question, and you may get a multitude of answers. But if we really dive deeper in the exam lane with what these patients are doing, we are going to find they have very specific needs that we've been missing. And explaining that to them, it sounds like, so you are a photographer, this is what you do for a living, and you're 40 years old, and you're starting to lose some of that ability to be able to edit your photography to the capability that you can, because you're missing some of the fine-tuned details. I have something that can help you with that. Please don't go to the store and buy these +1 readers. I have something that can help you with that. But our patients don't know because we're not talking about it. So explaining it to them, explaining to them how their eyes need to work together. We want a set of glasses where our eyes are going to work together, and that's what the binocular help is going to do. Nothing else over the counter is going to correct that problem for them. And we know that about 9 out of 10 patients that come walking into your exam lane have a difference between their two eyes, whether it be a quarter of a power difference or more than that. So nothing over the counter is going to fix that problem. I have a solution by being able to allow your eyes to get together with the way that that lens progresses down to the reading zone so that you can see and read comfortably. When you're explaining it to a patient, it needs to be very simple terms. I think a lot of us just tech talk too much over their head. Yep. It scares them. I'm
certainly guilty, yeah.
Yep. It scares them, and they leave going to find a simple solution. I can give you an example. I have a friend who is a photographer, 40 years old, and she just went to the optometrist the other day and she needed glasses for herself and her daughter. And she's 40, emmetrope nothing. Her daughter is a little bit nearsighted, and she chose to spend the money on glasses for her daughter, and she was going to leave and go buy a pair of readers. And I stopped her. I'm like, I am in the industry. Please explain to me what the doctor asked you. Doctor didn't ask her anything about her daytime job, what kind of details she's looking. And when I dug to the bottom, I'm like, you really need this new lens that I make. And I guarantee you it's going to make your world of photography editing so much more precise.
Well, and those photographers with their understanding of optics, I mean,
Yes.
sometimes you can get into the weeds with those folks a
Yes.
little bit. But
Yes.
yeah, I think keeping it simple for a lot of folks and how is this going to impact your life is the thing to bring it back to. So that makes perfect sense. Educating patients can be key here, but also educating providers.
Yes.
And what are you guys thinking about in terms of devotion to that? Any support tools or training
Sure.
resources, or what do you think things will look like from that side
Sure.
of things here?
We have our Hoya Learning Center, so all of our Hoya customers have access to this online web portal that has training videos. We created an amazing VisuPro training for staff members. So anybody within an office that is a Hoya customer has access to this, and they can watch this training video. It's interactive, all virtual learning, and it goes into all of the details between the two designs and the different power ranges that they're available in. Michael and I have also been traveling the country doing a lot of trainings in a large customer offices, spoke about it at Vision Expo last year. We'll probably be speaking about it again at Vision Expo this year. It's our newest thing we've got, and it is revolutionizing the market because there's nothing out there like it. There are some managed vision care codes available for some of this. So some of these managed vision care companies have allowed me to be able to talk about it with some of their customers as well because they have codes for it available. So any type of education we can get. For this lens to really work well, I believe that this education has to start with the optometrist and then trickle to the staff as well, because we're finding the staff isn't totally understanding when you would use this design versus one of those anti-fatigue boost designs, but the doctors do. So we've got to have the doctors talking about it in the exam lane, and it's going to make this lens be able to work. Think back to whenever our occupational lens designs came out. This was kind of the same situation we were sitting in. Doctors were creating their own occupational designs for patients because there wasn't one made. So they were changing the script, cutting it back, and putting it into a regular progressive to make it work for that patient. That's what's happening now. Doctors are cutting scripts, they're making single vision readers, maybe different between the two eyes. They're using these anti-fatigue boost lenses, and now there's something to fix it. So it's got to come from the doctor, and then the staff can help follow up with it.
When, as you laid out, you kind of see this as a whole new product category, and you have a couple designs, as you mentioned. Do you think there'll be further designs down the road here in this product category?
Yes, I do. I think we'll be able to enhance it. I believe after so long, other manufacturers will start making some lens designs as well to be competitive. But I do think us being innovative out here, starting this category, we will see down the years to follow other things coming up. And they're always going to be better. They're always going to have more technology added to them. They're probably going to add different power changes in the bottom where we have it right now. We have it sitting at about a diopter, 3/4 of a diopter, a full diopter, a little over. There's room for growth there, but I don't have anything to say that Hoya's making anything new, but with the progression of everything else that gets added, I mean, I guarantee other manufacturers will come out with stuff and we'll make innovation as well.
We always like to peek into the future a little bit if we can in this show. So,
Yeah.
Kelly, before we let you go here, do you have any final thoughts, anything we're missing for the listeners here today?
I think VisuPro is here to stay. I think a lot of offices are just barely dabbling their fingers into it. They're just barely talking about it. And I think that's a miss. I think you're missing a huge generation of patients walking in your door. All of these millennials have always been talked about their entire lives. And our millennials are hitting the point now where they're pre-presbyopic. So if we don't educate them on it, they're going to find the education themselves. They're going to find it, and I hope they come in and ask about it. I hope there's a new lens out there that can help me. But we need to be ahead of the times, just start talking about it, and education's the key. starting the talk in the exam chair, starting it before that patient even gets to your office, maybe sending them an email. We've got a new lens. It's going to work for you. Will make all the difference of getting this out there.
Great. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the deep dive on VisuPro. And to our listeners, if you found this conversation helpful, useful in any way, please take a moment, like, share, subscribe, leave us a review, throw out some ideas for future conversations. We're willing to go wherever you guys lead us. So additionally, make sure you check the show notes for links to everything we discussed. We'll make sure that's posted down there. And everyone look forward to Michael Gaddy coming back. He's going to talk with us about Sensity 3 coming up. You guys aren't going to want to miss that. Kelly, thanks again, and hope you have a great day.
You're welcome. Thank you.